This is Isaac from the Blind Island. I'm doing my follow-up video a few weeks late to my last video. I know that I said that I was going to talk about Martin Denny, but I figured I'd just talk about Exotica. It's a genre that I recently have gotten super into. I've fallen in love with it. I used to find it as kind of a cheesy thing, but due to my love of surf, Exotica was surely close to follow. I thought I was going to do an artist uh, deep dive on Martin Denny, but then I thought, then everybody kind of knows about Martin Denny as one of the main guys. He's definitely going to be included in the spotlight, this genre spotlight, but I wanted to share some guys that may not have as much of they're not as well known as some of the others. So just a quick guide through some Exotica artists, some choice titles, and hopefully you guys like it. But the first one I'm going to start with is, this is a guy that some people, he's known as kind of the godfather of Exotica. This is Corala Pandit. This is Tropical Magic. He was a pipe organist and multi-instrumentalist. And, you look at this album, it is just absolutely like a place that you'd want to go to. It's almost like I Dream of Jeannie. And it's a magical album. It really is. Some people are not into the pipe organ. I understand that. It's also Corla Pandit. What an interesting character. Truly a self-made man, but he went his entire life, his entire professional life under the name of Corla Pandit, but was actually found out to be a light-skinned mulatto African-American at the end of his life. He was not an Indian. He was actually from Missouri, but he had committed his whole life, not just in career, but outside of his career, as this character. And if you're looking for kind of something that's a little bit more off the beaten path, it doesn't have the jungle birds and the calls, but it has this really big whirling sound. I would really recommend this one. This is one of his best albums. Now, another big name in Exotica, he's probably one of the big three that everybody always thinks of, and this is probably my favorite by him. This is Bahia, the exotic sounds of Arthur Lyman. He was the vibraphonist for Martin Denny, and after Martin Denny came out with Exotica, which was the big breakout hit for Exotica, he broke away and started his own group and found a lot of success on his own. And I find this one to be his best material. There's something about it that he really does create a mysticism around the music of Exotica. And this is the covers too are just so phenomenal. This one is really matching the cover. It's this cool Hawaiian breeze. Really good stuff. Now, Exotica kind of gets mixed up with bachelor pad or space age music, and this one is a little bit more on the Afro-Latin bachelor pad, but it's so good. Yeah, this is Viva Cugat, Xavier Cugat and his orchestra. What's really nice about a lot of these titles is you can pick them up extremely cheap, and this one, it's probably one of the best sounding records in our collection, and you can get it for $3 to $5. It is a big, huge, dynamic sound. Mercury, when they're saying perfect presence sound series, they're not lying. And they have in the gatefold a description of how they set up the instruments and the microphones to get the best possible sound out of this recording, and it really plays. Just a phenomenal record. It definitely is more on the Tito Puente Afrobeat sound, but with a little bit of that Latin jungle marimba feel. So really great record. Now, this is the album that probably started the whole Exotica craze, and This is Les Baxter and his orchestra, Ritual of the Savage. Now, again, Exotica is not an album, or it's not a genre that's meant to be taken seriously and necessarily. This is not supposed to be a representation of international or tribal music. This is like the Hollywood-ified version of that. But you know what? The music sounds great. It's incredible. It was one of the first to kind of incorporate the sounds of the jungle and just I mean, the cover may be offensive to some, but I find it to be just tremendous. So great, great record. Then from the big man, Martin Denny himself, Aphrodisia. This is one that has a little bit more Africanized sounds brought into it. This definitely has a theme throughout it. There are interesting like effects that are put on to make the sounds of mosquitoes and the sounds of just these deep tribal drums in the jungle. Again, it's a Hollywood version, but it's a place. Exotica is described as a place that never existed, but you wish that you could go to. And this is definitely one of those albums where you're like, I would love to go into this place where, and just enter into that. And so that is what this record reminds me of. This also gets more into the bachelor pad, space age music, but, and this isn't one of his more well-known albums, but this is 1968 by Jose Esquivel. And, whoa, this is so good. The big song here is Mini Skirt. It's the swinging 60s, and you get those vibes in a big, big way, bringing in the sounds of Exotica into the mid to late 60s. It's a really old meets new world. So if you can find a copy of this, highly recommend you pick it up. It had a very, very limited pressing here in the United States, primarily pressed in Spain, in Mexico, but I would just recommend going and streaming this record. It's very, very good. And then finally, I would say this is the epitome of Exotica. This is the Sounds of Exotic Island by the Surfmen. And this is what Exotica is really all about. Jungle calls, birds, and the different animals that will be found within the trees. All of the band members are making them. And yeah, there's a little bit of cheese to the whole thing, but it is just a soundtrack. It's a vibe, and you really feel that throughout this entire thing. And I mean, it really, again, the cover speaks for itself. A beautiful island girl emerging from a jungle flower. It's like a dream, and that's what Exotica really is all about in the end. So that is my little genre spotlight. I'm going to be doing a recent finds video soon, and actually we are going to be moving here very shortly, so this is going to be all changed around very soon. But thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I wish you all the best, and keep on spinning. Have a good day.